Mansers are back? Ooh, those are the ones we want.
I can't wait.
We want the good and the bad.
Glen Stanley Smith, and my dad had a Stanley in the middle of his name. I have a Stanley in the middle of my name, and I named Greg, he's got a Stanley in his name. So it's a 3-generation type thing. So I thought that was nice.
So, did you have any nicknames growing up
Me?
at all?
Stretch.
Stretch.
I played baseball, and so I used to stretch out for the ball. You know, I played first base. So, Stretch and Smitty. That's about it. I hope I can't say the other words they told me. I was baptized, and of course I was LDS. My folks were LDS, so I was born under the covenant. And I was baptized when I was 9 years old. Dad was a little hesitant there, a little late. And I was baptized in Jordan River Canal. No, it was a river, it was a canal, big canal. And people would line up on the road right there. And I don't know who baptized me, I guess my dad. And they took me in this wide canal, and I was baptized right in dirty water.
Were you excited?
No, because I had to go in that cold water.
I bet. Was it really cold in there?
November, is that when they baptized it?
Oh my goodness.
So it must have been now. But I survived. It's crazy. Now they've done away with the ditch and the church and everything. That's where we used to go to church. And we used to go to church at 7 o'clock in sacrament meeting.
Nice.
And that was because so the farmers could milk the cows and make the sacrament. And my dad and mother were mutual people. They'd go to all the dances, my mom and dad. And so we'd go down there to the dances too. And when it was winter time, we'd go out, throw snowballs, and then run back down and start dancing.
Oh.
My Smith grandparents, I suppose they were LDS, but we never knew them very well, even though they lived right across the street from us. But he was a surveyor for the county. And back in those days, it was a gravel road. So he had his horses, and he'd rake all the rocks and make it smooth for the cars to go by. That was my grandpa Smith. But my grandpa Labor and my mom's mom and dad, they were farmers, of course. Anyway, we used to go visit them. They'd always have a cookie on the piano for us to come and get. So I kind of go over to Grandma's and Grandpa Labor. We helped with the thrashing machines. And we had whole beets over there and do corn and so forth. Stayed with Uncle Boyce a lot of the times and helped out there. And we used to have pheasants over there on their land too. When we were kids. So that's about it.
And you lived across the street from your grandpa Smith?
We're right across the street. And I have to tell you one thing, he had an old cellar there on his property. And when Mark and Brett were born, they got over to Grandpa Smith's place and went down that cellar and saw inside his cellar. I've never done that.
Oh, wow.
And they went and they tell me a little bit about it too. But he had a distillery which made beer. And
And you grew up, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Granger, where there was only about 4 houses on the whole street. And we could walk out our door and start hunting pheasants. And pheasant season, there was just farmland, you know, alfalfa and wheat and beets. And that was about it. So I was born and raised there. Do you remember Janice Peterson? Janice that lived across the street. She called me here about a year ago,
Did she?
and she says, how come we didn't get together when we were kids? And I said, oh, you were too ritzy over there on Big Peterson's, you know. And she said, oh, that is so wild. I was not. You guys were the big guys in the neighborhood. But I was probably 5 years old, 6, maybe 7. So I know I watched my dad dig the basement, you know, with a team of horses and a shovel, wooden handles come out like this, like a wheelbarrow. You know, it had a dip in it like that. And we'd get the horse going and put the thing down in the dirt and haul it out the opening we had, dump it, come back in. And he had to do that through all of his basement, through the whole basement. But I think Dale Peterson had to do the same thing as our neighbor. He had to dig that same way Dad did. So there were no tractors or anything like that at that time to do that. So
Did you help him, or
he
you
was
watched him do that?
watched him, I'm sure. I kind of remember when we moved in. We stayed at Grandpa Smith's house probably at that time. We were living there for a little while, I think. I remember I used to go down the basement and stoke what do you stoke?
Coals?
Coals and so forth. And that's about the only time we ever saw him. But anyway, he was a good old boy, Joseph. Is his full name just Joseph? I'm not sure. He was all right. My mother didn't like him, however, because he had some land around there, about 50 acres of land right where Bert Peterson lives and right over around us. And he lost it all. My grandpa lost it all. And so my mother did not get any inheritance from the land she had around there, and she never did like it. Go over. That's probably why we didn't see it much. I used to have a swing. I don't know. We had a big swing with two things coming back, and we used to get in that and pull it back and jump out of it, you know. But what was important, we had a rock pile there, and we'd get our bass up, and we'd hit rocks over to Grandpa Smith's barn. And they'd hit on top with a tin roof, and we could see who could get the most, but then we'd run like heck. That's probably another reason why we never saw Grandpa. And we had our horse over at that place, at Grandpa's place. He had a corral and a barn out there, and his name was, what was our horse's name? Was you around when we had the horse? We had the horse anyway, and we put him in Grandpa's barn. And he let us use that in charge us, and so he was a pretty good old boy. But the kids all rode him, and he was a Shetland, Shetland pony. And when I got in him, my feet almost touched the ground. But he was a mean little thing, and he'd rear up like this, you know. You'd think he was going to go all the way over or something like that. So kids were a little scared of it. And I got him down in Moroni, the horse. I got him from the farmer down there. And he trucked him all the way down to Brother Smith's house or barn there. We put him in there. That's how we started. Then we sold him after a neighbor a guy in our neighborhood bought him and took him away, so we had him. But we didn't cry. Because the kids, I can still see Greg like good.
He gets so
Try to
scared.
make him get on.
So were you pretty good at riding the horses?
No, I fell off of a horse. In a horse, you can take it up the road for a half a mile, And on the way back, the horse knows he's coming to his corral, so he'll go like crazy, 100 miles an hour. And he'll turn like that into where the gate is to get into the barn. And I fell off as he was turning in like that. I still got that. I still got the bruise from it. But I know I could probably find it for you. But I guess none of us really liked horses too much. Well, Doug was the oldest, and I was the second. And Doug thought he was quite a hunk, I guess. He went to Granite High School and played on the basketball team for 2 years. And he was a very good basketball player. And he played for the youth. He went in the service right after high school. And he went in the service in the Navy. And when he came back, we were down there to get him. And I had grown at that time. I was just out of high school, just getting out of high school. He come over next to me and he says, "Where in the heck did you go?" And so I stunned him a little bit with that. But he had a Navy, I have to tell you this, he had a Navy uniform on. And being in the Navy, you know, I'm 18 years old, 19 years old, you're pretty husky, you know, pretty. And I looked at him and he had a pack of cigarettes. Right, his Navy suit. And I thought, wow, that's really something for him to do that. Now look, he's been bishop 4 times. He and I were always competitive. We always tried to beat each other in horseshoe and basketball. And I happened to beat him when he came out of the Navy at one point. We go to 21 and happened to beat him by 1. But he's a better golfer than I was. Better golfer. I never was a good golfer. Okay, let's move on.
I love that. And then there was Phyllis after you, right?
My dear sweet Phyllis, she was our second mother. Like Debbie kind of was with our family. She did everything. She tried to help Mom from crying when Dad would go somewhere. We went and worked for the CCC, the government project. And he left, and my mother, I was with him down the basement, and he said, "Well, I'll see you, Vera." And she said, "Yeah, you go ahead and go out of here and have fun with $30 to last for a month," or something like that. And she was crying and so forth, so that was kind of funny. We played games all the time on the floor.
Board games or marbles or?
We played marbles. Marbles was great. We played marbles all the time, especially down at school. They had a marble tournament, and I think I won a lager, steel lager. You know, they have steel balls like that you like to align, and one got the closest guy to shoot first, or something like that. There was a dispute in the family about that. We had a cesspool. We didn't have city sewer or anything. We had a cesspool. And so we'd go in the house if we used the water too much. Like, use the water too much, the cesspool would rise where the little, what's it called, tube, whatever, the pipe that came from the house into the septic tank, and it was right here on this wall. And if it got above there, the water, we couldn't use it anymore. So what we had to do, Dad had an opening in the wood coverings that he had on it. And so every night, and there was a board that he spread us across there, we'd sit on that board and put the water in a bucket, put the rope on a bucket, and drop it down into the cesspool.
Oh.
Bring it back up, and throw it out in a ditch that we had very close. And Clyde and Merlin would say, we had to do that all the time, but Doug and I did it all the time. I mean, we could have fallen down in that thing and never come up again. I don't know what was wrong with him. I mean, it was just a little thing like this, you know. And in the winter time, it was ice, and you had to scrape the snow off and so forth, and go out there and bail that stuff out.
Yeah.
I can't even believe you'd let us do that. And then years later, when we got the horse, I don't know who was riding the horse, but he went over. We filled the cesspool up after years, you know, because we finally got sewer. We filled that all up, and I'd say 10 years later, we had the horse, and one of us was on the horse, and we rode over the cesspool, because we just covered it with dirt, and he started sinking. So he started sinking, but we got him out of there fast enough, whoever it was on the horse. But that's another terrible experience we had. Come home from basketball practice, get out there and drain that cesspool and get some kindling in here, get that kindling in here for the fire. We only had a wood burning fire, we never had a furnace or anything like that. And we had a big hot stove, what do they call it? Big round
Potbelly stove?
potbelly stove, yeah. And that was the heat we had. It'd go in the living room, and then whatever would come out of that into the kitchen. Why, that's the heat we got in there. It was so cold in the house that we'd take our milk that we'd get from down below Peterson, and my sister Shirley, Phyllis, would take the milk and put it out. Open her window and put it on the shelf to keep it cold. So what could we do? I think we had a Kelvinator. I remember the old fridge Kelvinator, and I don't know why we didn't put it in it. Maybe it was too tall or something. I don't know. But that's how we. And Jan come out. We were sleeping with Phyllis one time, and she said, I almost froze to death. She said, it was so cold. Yeah, there was always two in the one bed. We had one big bed and one over here where the spiders were. Black widow spiders in this little closet place. We all were.
Who had to sleep in that bed?
Well, whoever didn't get in the other one, I guess. I don't know if you remember that place, but it was terrible. I don't know why you didn't do something about that.
How did you stay warm in your room?
Well,
you took rocks?
Yeah, with the rocks and bricks and wrap them up with paper. Get bigger rocks, you know, big rocks. Put them in the oven. And turn the oven on and got them all warm just before they went to bed. And we'd wrap them up with paper and off to bed we'd go. Put them down by our feet. Had to walk down to get our milk about 5 o'clock or half a mile and get our milk. And they had bad dogs, real bad dogs. And we'd go down when it was nighttime, and because that's when they milk, 7 o'clock or something like that. And every time we try to sneak out around without waking the dogs up, we'd take them around, and they'd get us about 100 yards up the street, and they'd start barking and coming after us. It was good. We always had food. I don't know how they ever got it there, but we never went fat or went without food any day. Dad somehow always had food there. Yes, one time in Christmas, we always put our stuff on the couches and so forth. And mine was here with a big long couch, and I was on the end. And I looked at my spot at Christmas time, and I thought, I always tell Dad what I wanted. And I looked there around what I had in my little spot, and I thought, well, that's so little short, you know. And so he said, Dad said, well, look in the back of the couch. I looked in the back of the couch, and there was my Red Ryder BB gun. Oh, I was so happy. You can't believe how happy I was. Because we used to go up where Marvin Smith used to live, in the orchard where they were, and we'd kind of scare the little birds around with mourning doves. We'd follow mourning dove and then we'd go like this, let you know, away from the nest. It was smart. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but mourning doves would always do that. And so we'd kind of walk after them and shoot the sparrows a little bit. I won't tell you the worst one that I ever did. God, I don't know how I did it. Over to Grandpa Smith's barn again. He had a state haystack there, straw. And we'd go over there and they'd have bird nests all over that. You could go right in and see all these nests and sparrows in there, and they'll get them. I can't even get these little spugs. We call them spugs. These little spugs, and we'd get them by the neck. Oh, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
You've repented of that probably.
Yeah, I have.
You remember?
Fats, yes. They had the pants with the short tied together, what were they called back then? But I remember me buying a pair with blue pinstripe white. and they would, I don't know what's so strange about them, but they'd come down and have tight around there. They were all, I bought a pair of blue and white ones. But everybody wore, at that time, it was a thing that went around, you know, at that time at Granite High School. And that's the only time I've ever done anything like that. I love Granite High School. You know, we had, our basketball court was just built at that time. So it was practically new, and we got to break it in, the basketball team. And I used to thumb home from practice every night. We practiced Monday through Friday, and thumb my way home. It's about 8 miles to there. And I'd thumb, and everybody would stop. They'd go as far as they're going, another car would stop. I never worried about a thing. You know, back in those days, I don't think there was that much. Well, I know there wasn't that much bad people running around. But I used to thumb home, and walk up the street to my house, which is a half a mile, 35 minutes out. And I was cold, I was sweating. We won a championship in 1947. 1947, we actually, in the region, we were only 3rd place. We just barely got in. And we played a team in Box Elder. What's the team in Box Elder? They're still there. Anyway, we played them and beat them 28 to 24, I think it was.
Oh, close one.
I remember making 12 points.
12 of the 28?
That's amazing.
That's-
Your jersey, your colors, what were they?
Oh, red and blue. Red and blue. I was proud to wear it. Not uniform. But C. Baker, the coach, always used to, when we were 9th graders in junior high, is that what it is, junior high? He brought basketballs out. He recruited us. First Doug, and he gave Doug basketballs to practice at home, you know. And when I got there, he gave me basketballs. Come out right to your house and talk to you and invite you to go play basketball with him. So he'd give us a couple of basketballs just to recruit us out there, to get out there. So I should have gone to Cyprus. See, right in the middle there where people went, most all the people went to Cyprus. And that's why we still have trouble with Margie and so. And they all went to Cyprus, they Clyde, Mary, and Lois, and Nellie, and all those people went to Cyprus. I was in the ROTC at the University of Utah. If we didn't get into ROTC, we had to go in the service. And in the meantime, so that's how they got us to not go into the war. We were playing basketball, and at that time I also had Craig. I got married, of course, and Craig was there, so they drafted me a 3A instead of a 1A, which 3A means you got a kid, so they didn't take it. I was lucky there. Basketball has saved me all the way around. It's been my whole life, besides my kids. My kids are number one, but I never knew Jan until I was, never had a class together. She went to Glen, same age. She was a year younger, but I had to stay back a year in kindergarten because I was end of November or something. And the only time when I met her, we were lined up one night to go perform what we were going to do when we graduated, how to do it. And I saw her up in the line of ladies, and the first time I ever saw her, and I thought, boy, she's a nice looking girl, really a nice lady. So I went the next day or so, I went down to a service station because we didn't have a phone. Went down to the service station and I told my brother Doug to come with me. So he came with me and I says, I can't call her, you call her. So I gave him the number and Doug called her and said, hello, Jan, how are you? Well, my name is Glen Smith, and I wanted to know if you, no, Jan asked where were we going to go? And I said, Doug. And Doug turned around to me and he says, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? So I told her there was a swimming thing or something, so we went there. That's how I first met her. Went to the wrong house because there was two, what was her last name?
Walker.
Walker, there was two Walkers right together there. So I went to this house instead of the big brick house. So so I went over, of course we had it.
Did you propose to him?
I know we was in a car, I was driving down the road and I gave her the ring. I said, open the glove compartment. She opened, there was a ring.
I
Nice.
love it.
Anyway, that's how she got engaged.
And where did you guys get married?
We got married, she just had a new house built, so they fixed it all up and got married at Jan's house in her family room. And Les Goetz, you know Les Goetz, who was a writer for the Deseret News. He was the bishop and he married us. Les Goetz. Let's go with Les Goetz. Like that. And all the basketball players came, pretty much all of them, and people that we knew. We got married, and then we went to Provo, had a place to sleep down there. I don't remember what the name of the hotel was. But then I remember when we went to, I was going to say something about Las Vegas. We went to Las Vegas. We stayed in the Frontier Hotel. And I still got a couple hangers that I brought to the Frontier Hotel. I look at people nowadays in church and they've got 7 kids, you know, and they take the whole row. Well, that's what we used to do. We used to take a whole row practically. And one time we were in church, and I was in Bishopric at the time, and Greg was messing up on the back road down there. And so I had to excuse myself and walk down there and have a little talk with him. And he was a better boy after that. It was a little embarrassing for me. But anyway, it's a good boy. I treated all my kids the same, in my opinion. I treated them all the same and never had to get too upset with any of them. One time we were headed toward Bear Lake and Greg and Mark were in the back seat. We had that Pontiac, we had a shift. And Greg, or Brett was teasing him or something. Greg straightened his leg out like that. And he hit the gear shift and stopped the car. And I was a little upset there. Just a little bit upset. But we put it back in gear and it took off. I think I was going to one of the weddings.
It's Debbie's wedding.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Debbie's wedding. So we got over that pretty fast. I've only taken the belt once, or a stick or anything to my kids once. And that was when they were doing awful naughty things. And like Greg one time threw a big rock. Doc was running down the street in the dark, and Greg got a rock that big and threw it at him, and it went over to our neighbors where Nan's friends live, and it hit their Jeep's light and broke it. So I walked over with Greg to apologize to the people, and I made him apologize to them. So that, and I think I took a little whip to him, maybe a little belt, a whip.
Right.
But they were all great kids. All great kids. My first home was in Denver. It was in Denver, 13 something west. Anyway, it was in Denver. I can't.
Yeah. No, that's.
And then we moved to a bigger home, and our second home was like a ranch home, on one level. We had 3 bedrooms and a full basement. And when kids start coming, we had to make the basement with a sheet between the two. So there was 2 sides, one side here, one guy slept here, one guy slept over there. We had 5 kids over there, so we had to,
That's nice.
Nanny was here, of course, and Mark. And Craig, I guess. Craig. We had family home evening all the time. Family home evening. And we'd have the girls usually prepare whatever we were going to do. And of course, the best time we ever had is after the family home evening, we'd go out in our backyard and play football. And I guess probably some basketball too. And we were throwing elbows. The girls were pretty tough. Debbie was a pretty good shooter, and Nanny. I remember Nanny. She was a good shooter and good ball player, good sport. Don't ever heard Nanny get too mad. Always depend on her. 3 girls in my family. And Nanny was the last girl. And we had her out in Granger at Pioneer Hospital. And when she was born, I ran home without even going in to see her. I ran home to tell the boys that we had another little sister named Nan. She's been controller ever since. She ruled the family. And she was a great gal too. I loved her very much. We always went, when we go eating, we'd go out to eat when everybody else was gone, I guess, except Nanny. We'd drive down the road 3500 south, And we'd say, is this okay, Danny? Is this all right, Danny? So we go, no, I don't want this. We go down a little bit further. Well, yeah, I guess this is okay. We went to the state fishing, I don't know what fish place that we liked. And she was so good. She was there too.
Well, you were always Kentucky Fried Chicken, so
Always a,
that's what you wanted every time.
I still do. I go there at least once a week. Oh, it was the best time of my life. Just to be with them and take them places. We didn't go too far away. Yellowstone Park was probably the furthest we went. We had fishing poles, a board like this, and it had a cut in it like that. And I cut in it like that. And we'd put our wire or string on that, and we'd put it in over the bridge, Brooklyn. What was that bridge we stayed at? Anyway, the little cabins and so forth. We'd fish that way, catch a fish and wind it back up. And we had great time. We didn't have to do big things to have fun as long as we were together. We'd always be playing basketball or football or playing games in the house. We were together, we were just fun. We grew up on games. Well, I'm talking about my family was that. Didn't we? We played a lot of games and so forth. And loved every minute of it. Whenever, of course, the first thing we put when we bought the place is a basketball court up and put the basket up and so forth. And we had tons of fun there playing. All the boys, whenever they'd come, the first place we'd go was out on the basketball court. And I was a little bit older when they finally started to catch up with me. And I remember when Mark beat me the first time, I was really quite upset. And we played 21, and it was so fun. Best time. The girls, they were always fun. I loved them. And that's my whole life. I don't care about anything except that. I love them much more than anything else. My grandkids were all so special. You know, well, I started, and they're so beautiful. There's man, there's dad, and I said, did I start this? And they're good. They're my life. They really are. I hate to leave.
You hate to leave. You're not leaving.
The roadways.
Well, last question, just I guess, what advice do you have for your grandkids about living such a good long life
You had
like you
great
have?
parents. You all had great parents, so all of the grandkids were great, just like their parents are. Never have any trouble with my grandkids too. They were all so beautiful. I love to see those little kids. And, that little, who is it, that lives in Twilla?
Clint's
Clint.
kids?
Lives
Oh.
in Twilla, and his two little girls are up there. And they just kind of took a little attention to me, But the first thing they come in, they come running over, and that's what I thought. They come running over and see it, and Sarah does that. And they just hang out. I just like them to hang out, What do you need, Grandpa? They're just great kids. Just all. But everybody's like all of my grandkids and great-grandkids are the same. Just love them. Best time of your life, so enjoy. Mandy, that sounded good, that toothpick you got.
You've got to give me one. Yes, we need to have one of you.
Toothpicks right there.
Dad.
What's that?
Like a cigarette and you hit the ashes off.
Get the butt.
When you play cards, that's what Grandpa does.
love it.